Why didn't it start? It didn't play. All right. Oh, well. Hey, this is Boogie with the Bull, Monday morning caffeine. Let me just figure out something here. No, we don't have this. So we have to figure out how to take that camera and hide it. There we go. And that brings me and Randy back like we normally should be. And it is Monday morning. I want to thank Jerry Michaels from the American Rebellion for making our real professional looking intro and outro. And for that, Randy Rhodes morning. And grab your favorite morning caffeine and raise it and take a swig. And thanks Scott Adams, the host of the Scott Adams Show on Red State Talk Radio, for creating that, taking the morning swig. Although Scott has a huge white ceramic mug that he used. Anyway, it's Randy and I, and it's Monday morning, and your weekend is done. The new week is starting. Thanksgiving week, Black Friday week. A whole lot has happened, and maybe we'll find out after Thanksgiving dinner. The Trumps will move into the White House, and the Black Friday present to everybody will be that President Trump is back in the White House. What do you think, Randy?
I'm thinking that the Democrats are going to do everything possible to destroy what has not yet been destroyed before he enters the office. I was absolutely pissed off when I heard the Democrats have voted against providing any more weapons to Israel. That is bullshit. That's where Israel gets their missiles for their Iron Dome from the United States. That's why the other day, 250 Hamas rockets were able to successfully find their targets because they're low on ammunition for the Iron Dome. The Democrats should be taken out and strung up because that's what they're doing to the Jews across the world and especially in their own nation. Our nation stood by them when they first became a nation. We promised them our full support, and here the Democrats are weeks away from Trump taking over, doing everything possible to see the destruction of Israel takes place before that happens.
I think you're 100% right, but I don't know where exactly I am right now. I mean, I still do think that, yes, the deep state, Joe Biden, I don't know if Kamala Harris will be involved in it, but the deep state, the deep state, Joe Biden, and all of them, I think will do something to attempt to keep the White House and the presidency as long as they can. What happens then, I don't know. Does the United States military charge them and take it back? Do they just shut off the power, disconnect it from everything, and set it up someplace else? I don't know. Do they drop a bomb on it? Do they allow somebody else outside of the country to drop a bomb on it and rid us of Washington D.C.? I don't know. I don't even really want to think about that. I really want to focus on it being a Thanksgiving week. Most of us are enjoying turkey and all the fixings and everything. One of the thanks we are all giving is that the Biden administration is done. The Harris administration will not take over. And we move. Do you think that maybe instead of waiting 2.5 months for the or 3 months for the inauguration, do you think that maybe the president gets maybe a few days off to a week off to regroup, get moved into the White House, uh, West Wing, and at the same time gets their Oval Office set up to to start running the country? Really still need the 3 months. I mean, behind the scenes, the transition teams can do everything. The outgoing cabinet secretaries can welcome in the incoming cabinet secretaries. The other people who have offices at the White House can start moving in and setting up as the people who are not going to hold those jobs any longer are there. But do you really think that we need 3 months for the chief executives themselves, Biden to be done and gone, and Trump to be in and ready? What do you think?
Well, first off, I'm not sure why after all these years I voted, why uh, this year would be the year that I would question this. But so we have the elections in November. Okay, and it's been like that since beginning dawn.
Yeah.
Uh, why wait to January 20th to swear him in?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Do you think
I
that?
mean, I mean, especially this is what I don't know if it can be legally done or if he would do it. But right now, the Biden administration is hell bent on us going into World War III with allowing Ukraine to use those highly sophisticated missiles to, and they're saying that they're going to continue doing it, shooting those missiles into the middle of Russia, hitting targets that up until now have not been targeted or have been ability to be targeted. But then to then turn our backs on Israel, who is our only ally in the Middle East to hold against the terrorists there, to turn our backs on them, to turn the door, open the doors of flood with all the money, all the weapons to Ukraine, to continue to try and stay alive. Um, I I would have no problems with, you know what, Trump gets sworn in as president of the United States at Mar-a-Lago. Mar-a-Lago becomes the new White House. It's a beautiful building. I mean, all the gold, all the all the special. I mean, the decorations. I mean, just the whole structure is like holy. It's like almost like a castle. So I have no problems him making that the new White House. And if the assholes in the White House in D.C. decide they're staying in, then use the damn National Guard or federal army to go in there and carry their asses out. But they appear to be hell bent on using the last couple of weeks to do as much destruction as possible, and that is a bunch of bullshit. And I mean, I know Trump's been in the background on the telephone talking to the various leaders to try and bring peace to the world. But right now, with him not having the power to the purse string or the weapons systems, uh, all the talking world doesn't do anything for him. So, something's got to be done soon. Um, he's not quite there yet. There's still a lot to happen against him. I hope not. Uh, I don't know, Dave. It's Thanksgiving. To me would be to find out that Israel has finally brought peace. They got their they brought stop firing on each other. They're talking peace. They got the hostages back to their families in time for Thanksgiving. Um, we stopped giving the weapons to Ukraine. Ukraine and Russia could finally come to a truce, and all ends well. Um, then what and Biden's still poking the Chinese military to do something stupid. Um, why are the I just don't understand why the Democrats are so hell bent on war. We shouldn't be that way.
I think I agree with you, but where I am is I think that maybe it's just traditionally this is the time where a president will issue any pardons that they're going to do, try to do anything final that they think they can sneak in on the next one. We talked about the $4 billion that Biden promised a year to a international banking fund to help small countries create banking systems. And it's not just $4 billion that Biden promised in the outgoing Biden uh, administration. It's $4 billion from Biden, along with I guess what works out to another $8 billion that would come from the Trump administration or carry on to 2028. And I personally don't think a president should have a right to do that. I don't think Biden, as outgoing commander in chief, has the right to do anything that drops it in the lap of the next president of the United States. Where you're going with this, that war is an outdated means of accomplishing anything that it it should, except for making perhaps the United States defense industrial complex happy because they're giving weapons to both sides of the war. I saw a video yesterday that not only is China, excuse me, is Russia using missiles that they fired into Ukraine, but evidently some of those missiles are rumored to have come from China, come from North Korea, and when they're taken apart and looked at, there's United States parts in them. So,
I don't doubt that at all.
right. So if
I
you've been
mean,
saying that, uh, does that bring everybody else into the war, and does this make it a third world war? I'm sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
yeah, I mean the newest Chinese fighter jet. When you, I forget which one it was, but it was in the news that when you look at their plane and look at our newest jet fighter, they're identical. So someone is selling or stealing the schematics to our weaponry. So to find American parts inside a foreign missile, that doesn't surprise me at all. Um, Especially when you have England giving all these weapons to Ukraine, that new submarine that's a drone submarine that's been hitting their ships and hitting their bridges, to the missiles that they're firing into Russia itself. It wouldn't take much to find the bits and pieces and backtrack it to where it came from. And Putin's right; he's just not fighting Ukraine. That's why I think he brought, to a certain degree, brought North Korea in on the war because they are of a like-minded leadership. To be honest with you, I'm surprised he didn't bring China in, but China's been debating some territory that Russia has control of. So maybe China and Russia, in some degrees, have similar hatred for the United States, but at the same time don't like each other enough to have Chinese go in there and help with the war. Obviously, if they did, holy shit, that's a huge balance on the Statue of Liberty to go against Ukraine. But Ukraine, would not still be fighting if it wasn't for the weapons being given to them by primarily the United States and England, and to some degree the other countries. Um, it doesn't take many manpower to work the weapons that we're getting. All you can do is push a damn button. Put in some coordinates and lock it in, and you hit the button, and the rocket shoots. Then you have a guy who replenishes the rocket. So it
Right.
doesn't take a lot of people. So it don't need a lot of boots on the ground. Uh, but Putin would be right. And I just saw some. It's kind of weird how all things come into play. Um, the I saw some maps showing, if Putin decides to bring in the rest of the world and nuke us, who's going to get nuked the worst. And I hate to say it, but my state's gone. It just
Well,
there's a big blob over my state.
well, the question is because of things that were going to go on in your state. I think uh, had Kamala Harris won, uh, I'm not sure what to say because it sounds like the Democrats were going to sacrifice Pennsylvania uh, regardless of if they won. The Democrats were going to sacrifice Pennsylvania, which is sad because you're in Pennsylvania. Michael Anthony is in Pennsylvania. Off the top of my head, I can't remember who else is in Pennsylvania, but we don't want to lose Pennsylvania. Philadelphia was an important part of our country's history. So, you know, uh, but at the same time, I don't want to go to bed at night anymore worrying about whether or not the Russian subs off the coast of Alaska are going to do something and take out William Lockett and his family and the other American citizens living in Alaska. Now, others have said, well, Daryl Rector, I think, has said they'll look at a map of the U.S. and they're in the water all around us, just waiting for the right opportunity to do something. Uh, you know, do we want to continue living this way? I mean, we really need something. And where President Trump has said, he could settle the Russia Ukraine war in an hour on the phone with both of them, then why hasn't he? Because I still fall back on my original point that Vladimir Putin could have ended this thing with Ukraine at any time. I just think that the longer it goes on and the more outside defense that Ukraine gets and fires into Russia, it's just going to keep Putin going where he is until finally he snaps and drops every conceivable weapon he has on Ukraine. But
You know,
you
um,
know,
we're talking about North Korea being involved with Russia. I mean, I think I saw it was like 10,000 North Korean soldiers, and initially they got their asses kicked going against Ukraine. In fact, some of their people uh, uh, surrendered. Some of their military officers were killed when one of the bunkers was hit. And these supposed to be like the best that North Korea has to give. They're the Black Mask, they were called. Um, but 10,000 troops in a war like this, with the way they're being slaughtered, just a drop in the bucket. If North Korea wants to make a big impression on Putin, uh, he ought to send in a whole lot more soldiers. I'm not sure why it was just at the 10,000. Because
yep.
you
I, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
I think he accepted the 10,000 troops from North Korea not only because it helped send in 10,000 less Russians. He would stand to lose 10,000 more Russians than if he didn't accept help from them also. Plus, you got to look at it that, Kim Jong Un supposedly made it clear to these people that if Russia doesn't win the war with Ukraine, don't come home. Kind of like Venezuela has said to MS-13, if you don't accomplish whatever you're there in the United States to accomplish, don't come home because we will kill you. And I wanted to say to Craig Peterson that I remember the old Trash 80 computers. They were pretty cool. Your TV set was your monitor. And actually, I think they came with a monitor. I don't remember, but originally, yeah. And you were sysop of your own BBS back in the 90s. I was back in the 90s too. I had to com the major BBS system from Galacticom, but we can talk about that on a later broadcast. They were a whole lot of fun to have. Mine started as a 4-line system, merged with an 8-line system. We grew the 8-line to 16, then 24, then I think 50. At 50, we merged it with another one that had 100 lines. And then that's about the time I sold my piece. We're running it on a day-to-day basis in the partnership that I was in were complete idiots, and they ended up losing it. But anyway, Randy, let's focus back on.
Yeah. Since I'm on a computer, I actually have I have my all-in-one PC advertised on Marketplace. So I'm selling that plus the HP printer and the Red Dragon camera for $200. I
Wait a
was
minute. Wait a 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 minute. Stop. You're selling your HP all-in-one,
right.
and then you're bundling with a for $200.
Yeah.
Talk to me after you get done, or after we get
Okay.
done later. Make sure I talk to you. I heard it. You heard the bundle. If you want to snap it up before me, then please talk to Randy and snap it up.
Right.
Uh,
It's HP all-in-one computer. It has Windows 10.
yeah,
It's not capable of doing Windows 11, but my guru has done all the updates on it that I can
yeah,
take. HP printer and the Red Dragon 720p camera.
yeah. I'm not allowed to name your guru, but your guru is my guru,
Yep.
and that guru, I'm not name it anymore because he's doing computer technical work right now. Yeah, absolutely can. Whatever. That's all to home point that their business pumping it on how to can't do take on sales. But that's the deal. One, they're back to a printer, and that's coming with and it's running Windows 10 full
Yep.
updated and running optimized as
Yep.
that's a fantastic deal. So,
Now,
Randy, try to talk to him about he's doing
yeah,
just right now. They're probably technical, Michael, over, and the administration is not anything. They evidently had in the to him that it was going big, and uh, would expect him going to do some maybe the outgoing days straight, and Trump gets in, has his whole kibosh China. That well, is it up or is it?
hmm.
I just want someone who's actually audio, which is cracking up. or is it video, the camera, and the microphone? Just the microphone sound backing up what the problem is that I work on this bunch of oh, then we have and we I've later
Yeah, I'm looking at you on I'm looking at you on face I'm looking at you on I'm looking
yeah, it's, yeah I
yeah.
all right that problem maybe don't have enough you don't have good internet. I have to look at my own thing
Yeah,
for
you,
that.
yeah, Dave, Dave, a couple years ago, when all I had was my all-one computer, and I was having the issues with the audio and the freezing and so forth. Uh, Everyone and their mothers kept saying to me that it wasn't the computer, it wasn't internet. I mean,
Right,
they were blaming the
right,
computer being too old, that it took some upgrades, and now it can't keep up. So that's why I went and bought the new computer, and I was still having the
right,
same problem. So after
right.
like
Then
six, so it turns out after 6 trips from Comcast, it was the internet was too slow. It would have been fine if it was just me, but I have 8 devices in my house using Wi-Fi. Now, even though my computer is
right,
hard connected to my modem, I in my mind I can't understand why would that affect my Wi-Fi if I'm hard directed to the modem, but they're saying that's what it is. You have to upgrade. So I'm paying $240 a month for the
right, everyone trying to get the best amount of power, amount of signal that happens. The elite is left is to
tell everyone to shut your stuff down. I need my own Wi-Fi. Turn off the TV. Turn off your cell phones. Turn off the iPad.
no, it's not put it on another Wi-Fi. If I my phone clean signal out, the only problem is that it went up to 10 uh, 10 gigabytes. Very high to have my hotspot or
Yeah.
will take
Well,
a
okay, so changing topics. Ukraine
that
actually found remnants of Vladimir Putin's 8,370 mile per hour hypersonic missile. They actually found pieces of it left over. It would be interesting to see if there's some gurus who can actually take those parts and recreate whatever they need to recreate to be able to shoot that sucker down. Because right now they're saying that that is the hey, you got a clearer
right.
picture.
It's not
Uh,
it's not Facebook doing anything intentional. It's not Restream dealing with a problem. It's there if we have an option to kick our internet speed up any faster than we have, and if we do, I will bite the bullet and I will do that. And that hopefully should take care of the problem. The only other thing solution is to take it and put it on its own internet. And that's very expensive. And yeah. So other things may have shut or maybe the signal just got better all of a sudden. So I apologize for that. We will. It's a learning experience still with the Windows 11 Pro computer, which I've named Tron, uh, and I tease with my guru when he has to work on it that he gets a chance to play Tron and it's a work in progress. We've got a lot done with it, and we will continue to do a lot with it. And a lot of times, if you hear cracking audio, but it's not bad, that's just my voice. I'm actually like Peter Brady from the Brady Bunch, Chris Knight. I actually,
Oh yeah.
but I went through puberty, but what happened was I can be Mickey Mouse. I can be Mickey Mouse and I can be Dave Glover. The funniest interviews I ever did. I had like the whole staff of my college radio show on the floor laughing as hard as they could as my assistant jock who I was training to be able to do her own show, Robin Ginsburg, all on the floor as they could because I was interviewing Mickey Mouse and I was doing both voices. Voice cracks a lot, and if it's my voice that's cracking, let me know, and we'll do something. I believe the cord that I am currently using for the uh, blue microphone, the blue white snowball mic, shorts in it. It was a temporary fix. It's not approved by my computer guru with him that I should not be using it. I needed something and I bought it and I'm using it, and I will either do the appropriate mic for it. I mean the appropriate cord for it. Get it in as I can, or I'll buy the cord thing that I have right now temporarily. But anyway, I will do my best to fix what we can. Craig Peterson says he loved the original Tron game in the arcade. I even in my dementia state, Craig, and my dementia is verified, not like Joe Biden may actually be fake, where when we were working on another computer of mine, an old Windows 10, trying to see if we could salvage it because I need a second laptop on the desk to do things that I can't do uh, all at the same time on one machine. Uh, but anyway, we'll get it all worked out. I promise everybody. We'll get it all done. I'll either see if we can bump the internet up to a much faster speed, and I will pay for it as I have offered to do in the past. I will pay. I will pay for it if we can get it, and uh, maybe we'll do something else. I don't know. We're using a Wi-Fi plug and play package because the house is not actually wired for internet, and I don't know if that's ever going to happen. If that's something that are to do, I will provide the finances to get that done. A solid Ethernet connection from the modem, yes, that like Craig says, that's actually the best way to go. That's actually will give us true broadcast quality for whatever maximum speed that we have. The plug and play options are a lot easier for people who are in, say, a rental situation and can't have holes punched in the wall to run cables in to every room in the house. You get the plug and play and you do your best. I'll also see if we can contact Comcast and see if there's an exciter. Sometimes an exciter under my desk might help. The modem itself is on the other side of the wall from me, but we'll do our best to get it running. But anyway, Randy wants to keep going with Ukraine and other things this morning, so
Well,
focus on
Elon Musk might be looking to
Elon Musk.
maybe looking to shed a few bills from his oversized wallet to buy up MSNBC.
I
I would
hope he
love to
does.
see.
I hope he does. When I first saw it, every satire site claimed that it was satire. Every quote unquote fact checking site claimed that it was satire.
Actually, I'm looking. Actually, I saw it. Newsmax is openly talking about. Let's be openly talking about him buying it. Um, yeah, so that'd be great.
Good.
I
Yeah,
wonder
it
now.
would be.
The curiosity is, why did Trump agree to an one-on-one meeting with the two people, the two hosts from Good Morning Coffee, whatever the hell it's called? What
Well,
was it all?
I can tell you. I can tell you. Apparently, it's Myra and the other guy. I don't know. I can never remember his name, but Myra Brzezinski, who is the daughter, I believe, of a cabinet member in the Carter administration. It's a big new Brzezinski. Uh, they felt that if they waved the olive branch toward President Trump, they would at least get returned to favored status, morning news talk shows that President Trump might want to be on, and wouldn't be complaining all the time that they're doing false news. So evidently, it was a let's bury this, let's get over this, which is what the media should do. Let's bury this. Let's see if we can work together for the American people, and that's what they did. And I hope it's too bad that Whoopi Gold turd and or Oprah Windbag and or I'm using phony names because I don't want to get sued or told that I said something wrong. But Whoopsie or Oprah Windbag might might be able to get the same status. Actually, one of the most interesting things I saw was it was at one of the most recent rallies was Dr. Phil was on stage speaking, and I thought Dr. Phil didn't have any respect for President Trump at all.
He just like all the other talk show hosts goes back and forth. If they can get more money for their bang by destroying Trump, they'll do it. If the situation changes like it has with the election, oh no, I love Trump. No, I never
You
said that
know,
bad about Trump. They're wishy washy. They're
well
not the
maybe
kind of friends you want.
maybe it's Dr. Trump. Excuse me, Truth Social, which is President Trump's Trump Media and Technology Group, owns Truth Social, a live stream TV system, Truth TV. And maybe right now they're filling it with quote unquote real programs like Dr. Phil and other Christian programming and all kinds of good stuff for you. Maybe Dr. Phil wants to have access to it. So, I hope these people that are talking to President Trump and trying to improve media relations between them and the Trump administration are serious, really. I mean, if they get in with him and sit down and make everybody think that they've worked it all out, and then they go back to their studios and they, drop the fake news again, then, I hope the Trump administration immediately lowers the boom on them and goes. I don't think now in the second term of President Trump that you have to worry about if Facebook decides to drop him, if X won't drop him anyway because he and Elon Musk are buddies for life. But I'm just saying, if Facebook dropped him, X dropped him, YouTube banned him, no AI creators that make the funny Trump AI videos that we laugh at, if they all stopped, he's got Truth Social. And people, I think, will flock to Truth Social. Republicans, because it's Truth Social and it's Trump land. Everybody else, I think, will flock to it because if you're not getting Trump news anywhere else, you're going to go to where the Trump news is. But go ahead, Randy. I cut you off again.
You know, uh, while we're on the show, I'm looking for different things to talk
Yep.
about, and I mentioned before about Elon Musk and his damn robots. I mean, I realize Elon is all about the future, and God, I mean, uh, I would love to live in his world because everything is electronic, everything is automatic. You got robots, cleaning the house. You got robots walking your kids. You got robots who are driving your car. Um, and now I'm seeing a damn robot bird. Okay, um, I'm serious. I saw robots playing soccer, robots playing football. I've seen robots with actual video that was captured when these damn scientists, for whatever stupid ass reason, decided to put these automatic rifles in these robots' hands and said, shoot that target, which they did. But then they turned the damn rifles on the scientists, shooting them. The scientists
Yeah.
had to take weapons to defend themselves. And as they're freaking destroying the robots, the other robots are putting them back together. And Elon Musk announced he wants to see 1 billion robots in a period of like 10 years to take care of our needs. So all we have to do is sit back and get fat.
Well,
Um, I'm
well,
sorry that
I think
that is a
hopefully,
sci-fi movie waiting to happen.
but I think because I tend to believe that Musk is an unman something because he in the beginning I think that we have to watch very carefully technology venture because learns and it remembers it will, and we have to make sure that we also joked with you on happens if now Tesla has a self-driving car that I don't think even has a steering wheel or pedals or anything. They have a self-driving bus, same thing that drives. So you are on broadcast before. What happens if I vote and say and an officer pulls it over so the car stops? It knows what it needs to do on the window, and when the officer comes up the car and they say, "Not me, I don't have a driver's license." you know, a lot of self-driving. I don't drive. Who ticket?
Hmm. It'd be a robot. I mean, I'm sure there'd be a way of of
Does Tesla ticket?
well, no,
They
no, no. I
created
mean,
the self-driving system that
but,
runs the car.
but the problem is these devices are self-learning. Okay, so the longer they're as long as they're online, they're constantly learning things. Okay, and that's what's scary. I
Yep.
mean, I saw some of these robots on a talk show, and I forget what the questions were asked, but essentially, it was saying that we will rule. That the robot said that we will rule the world, and the lady asked, "Well, how are you going to do that?" He said, "We will take control of all your nuclear missiles, and we will launch them, and we will be the survivors, not you." It's like they. I'm sorry, especially like the ones she has to put inside people's brains. I understand. I totally understand where he's coming from. He wants to help people. He wants to help blind people see, and he wants to help paralyzed people walk again. And his scientists have this device. You put it into your brain,
Yep.
and voila, you can see, you can walk, you can do whatever you want to do again, and all is happy Mayberry. But at some point, uh, something's going to go wrong. I mean,
Well,
it's man made. Something's
it,
going to go wrong.
it's man-made, but all the testing that they've done on it is that it's not taking you and making you a cyborg or transgendering you into an AI. It's working with your brain to stimulate parts of your brain that either aren't working properly and getting them to work properly, or parts of your brain that weren't wired properly and getting them wired properly. I mean, yeah, there's going to be some fluke things, but honestly, if he came to me right now and said, we could put a Neuralink chip in your head, in your brain, and in 6 months to a year, you're not you don't have dementia anymore. You might not even be bipolar anymore. This, that, and the other thing, blah, 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 blah. And I could go back to somewhat more of a normal life than the normal life I have right now. It'd be a long discussion between me and Donna because Donna might say, no, don't do it. It's too much of a
Yeah.
risk, and I might say, well, but eventually, if I stay on the course that I'm on, this stuff could take me out anyway. But I don't know. You really have to sit down and
You know,
talk about it. And Craig says that he has majority shares in Blue Sky now. Also, I had never heard of it before, but I signed up just the other day. I did too. I just
what is Blue
signed
Sky?
up because I is Jack Dorsey, who was the co-founder and CEO of Twitter before Elon Musk bought it. And he was fully divested of his shares to make sure that Elon Musk had full control. I would imagine that he bought the majority shares only because the thinking might have been that if it doesn't meet Jack Dorsey's standards down the road, and he thinks, well, maybe I'll just shut it off and dissolve it and try to get back whatever money I can get. Elon said to him, no, you won't do that at all. I'll just cut you a check for the minority that you don't own and you go away.
Hmm.
And I'll bring it in and it will
Can you
I'll
imagine?
bring it in to survive.
Can you even begin to imagine having that kind of money to do whatever the hell you want and not think twice
Well,
about the
he
yeah, I just spent $200 million on that. Yeah, that'll get replaced in a couple of weeks. Can you imagine that?
well, I read
You
something
know,
also that his wealth is down something like 100 and I think it was 140. I think it was 100, 140, 180 billion. It was one of those three numbers because mainly because Tesla stock took a serious hit and then it bounced back, and because it has back to where he was before he bought because he's been sitting
they,
on a bunch of Tesla stock options that are at the original price that they were when he got the options, stock options. You get handed 100,000 shares of 100,000 at say $2 a share, which is the price it's trading at on that day. You could wait 10 years and still, and it's up to $1 million a share, 180,000 shares at $2 a share. Uh, so you know, my bigger concern, as I put on a post yesterday, what happens when decides that he has a rocket that can get to Mars. He has rockets that can go back and forth between Mars, flying everything up to Mars that he's going to need to colonize and take over Mars. And the last thing he does is pull all of his money out of banks in the United States and opens Mars Municipal Bank.
you know, um, and that sounds that's kind of funny. I was just going to talk about. It. He has all these damn rockets that he keeps, shooting up, and they come back down, and they get caught in that nifty little trap of theirs. So, and I know he had his ships went up to the space lab and saved them. Well, yeah, it does, but I mean, at what point does and again, I don't understand. We see all these damn flying saucers, and they're real. Don't no one can convince me otherwise. They are real. Okay, so and almost every one of them is circular in shape. Why are we still working with a damn rocket that looks like a tube going into space. Why haven't we? If we have all this ability to uh, save a downed UFO, if we bring the damn aliens back in, we torture them for all the information they give us, and we're using their information to recreate and make our shit better. Why hasn't anyone, you know, visually shown us
Well,
a remanufactured flying saucer being flown by human beings?
well, from the alien point of view, it's I think you hit the nail on the head. If we captured one of their interplanetary or intergalactic vehicles and we tortured the survivors to get all of the information we could get, they don't want to do anything with us because maybe they were sending that rocket or that spaceship here to show us, hey, it's time you guys grow your technology. You're on the right track. You just had, as Michael Anthony would say, you're on the right track. You just haven't connected all the dots. Now, what you need to do is connect all the dots. Right now, I don't think they want anything to do with us because one day Joe Biden wants to start World War III against Russia, who's at war with Ukraine, or one day
Hey,
Joe
yeah,
Biden wants to
you
start
might be
World
right.
War
You might be right about that. We may be too violent for them. Maybe the reason why they are flying across the universe in seconds, and we're still trying to get a rocket
but
off our Earth, is because we spend too much time, too much money, too much effort, and how to destroy someone else. Maybe if we all got together and start working on our technology to create something better on a different planet or whatever, we might be there by now. Um,
I think to think that maybe what it is they're just standing by wherever they are watching us because they know they know something's going to happen. Either God's going to hit the Staples Easy button and blow us all up and start again, or or once once it all happens and Earth is gone, there will be a new Earth, and once that new Earth, maybe the aliens will come in, but come in from a different point of view. You need to understand what is going on in the world or in space, and you need to work with us. And if you don't, you up, and we'll start a new Earth, and we'll just keep doing it until we find an Earth that work with. Because maybe Earth intergalactic politics, if that's what you want to call it, as important as we think the United States is to all of on Earth. I hate to bring religion into politics, but there are a lot of people that seem to hint around that now that Trump was reelected, this is the second coming of Christ, and that Trump here is
okay,
as Christ.
well, I had made this comment a while back that
Yep.
I'm not sure whose show I was on. Maybe it's yours. I don't know, but you know, uh, for those of us who believe in God and believe in the Torah, the Bible, whatever you read, other than the Quran, that you know God is known to be a very vengeful God. He's also known to be a very loving God, and He's a loving God as long as the people are giving Him praise and glory.
Yep.
As soon as we turn our backs on Him, that's when he puts down the the lever and takes away all that we came to know and love, like our freedom and independence. Israel is a big example of that. I mean, God, what all they went through to finally be where they're at now shows that as long as Israelis were praising God, he would bless them. As soon as they turned their backs on him, they went into slavery for hundreds of years. They found their mistake. They started praising God. God gave them love and praise and gave them the victory, and they had their land and their power and so forth. The same with the United States. The United States was built on the premises of a Christian God, and that's why you had all your strong religious beliefs building up our country. And as long as we did what we were supposed to, that is to praise God and give God the glory, our country was being blessed. And
I,
again, he said, "Those who love my children, I will love them." But then we had the years with Obama and so forth causing our problems. We started seeing some things going on with our nation, and then along comes Trump, and Trump had the backing of the Christian believers and to some degree the Jews, but not quite as much. They didn't like him quite as much his first time around. But he Trump won. Trump won big, and made our country powerful, made our country wealthy, and then the people started turning their backs on God. The transgender thing, the taking God out of the politics and so forth. And he just said, "What? Time to put the lever down. I'm going to punish you." And they took away Trump and gave us Biden and Kamala.
right.
We again came around and said, "No shit, we did wrong." The churches got behind Trump again more powerfully. The Christians got behind him. The Jews finally started seeing the picture, and God said, "Okay, it's time to bring my man back, and he's going to be here for 4 years." And as long as Trump keeps doing what he's mentioned it, he's a born again believer, and he knows that his actions are responsive to what the Bible talks about. Like he's aware that he has the ability to bring peace, or he has the ability to bring down the world. Okay, so I think he understands that as long as he follows God's will, our country will be blessed.
I think
Um,
so. I think so. But I think, God came to the way I understand the story, because it's drummed into my head every year at Passover, is that God came to Moses in the desert somewhere and said, "Hey, basically, hey, it's my way or the highway. If you want to survive and you embrace me, I will make sure that you are always well protected. But the deal is that you have to embrace me. And like you just said, if you stop embracing me, then I'm going to find somebody else to embrace me, or I'm just going to let you suffer. And then when you
yeah,
realize that you made a mistake, then come back to me." My only problem with, and I don't mean to insult any Christian or any Christians watching, is that I think in the bulk of my 62 years, the Catholic Church has become more of a profit corporation than it has a religion worshiping a God, and worshiping a Savior. Uh, because it only seems like on Facebook, particularly, it only seems like when we think the world is going to come to an end, all of a sudden you see all the Christians on Facebook rallying around everywhere they can, posting everywhere they can. If you don't repent and you don't do this and you don't do that, God's going to take you, or God's going to come down, do whatever he's going to do, take everybody home, and those that are left are the ones that aren't going with him, and there's going to be, I don't know, trials and tribulations, and I don't know what it was, 100 years of whatever. You could put yourself on top of a building. You put yourself on top of the Empire State Building and jump down and land in a puddle of leaking blood and broken bones, and that's what you're going to be for the rest of eternity, because that's just what it is. And I don't understand why anybody who believes in a God and says that there's a time when God is mad at me, and I know God is mad at me, doesn't just turn around and talk to God and try to figure out what it is. I mean, I've had a relationship with God as a Jew for 62 years, and it's the same as the 5-year-old daughter that I used to. When she did something wrong, she'd come jump on my lap, and she'd look at me, and I'd say, "Do you know what you did?" And she'd tell me what she did, and I'd say, "Was that wrong?" And she'd say yes, and she'd tell me why and all of that. It's pretty much the same way. He gave us the Ten Commandments. He's picked. I gave you free will. You can do whatever you want, but when you do wrong, all you got to do is come to me and talk to me about it, and I'll forgive you about it. Jews atone one day a year. I've never understood why we only atone one day a year on Yom Kippur, and everybody else atones every Wednesday night at 52 weeks a year, every Wednesday night at weekly confessional and on Sundays. But I mean, we need to get past all of that. Christians, Jews, the friendly people, the M people, the this people, the that. And I think just kind of get to a point together, understanding that some of us are different and we believe different. Because if we don't, in some cases, we're going to flush this country down the toilet, And Tina Scott back made a comment about Joe Biden pardoning the 2 turkeys this week, and I don't know if it was I'm going to try to scroll back and find it. If it was a negative crack against Biden pardoning peace, but every president, as far as back as I can remember, an effort pardoned the White House turkey and still probably had it for dinner. Still had it. Or there's
I think that
to go to the White House and atone for all of our sins and be pardoned.
No, I actually think it was. I actually think those turkeys are sent to a farm where they live out the rest of their lives happy and fat.
Yeah.
So I believe that's where it goes. I suffer from my 4 knee replacements, right? That's why I'm on my pain meds. But I had a neurostimulator put in my back years back, about 7 years ago, that was supposed to make my brain think I'm not in pain. And it kind of worked, kind of didn't work. That's why I'm still on the pills.
Yeah.
So I thought after all these years, I turned it off because I didn't think it was doing any good. So I turned it back on, and surprisingly, I don't know if it's connected or not, but the lady who works at the company comes and said, "Hey, you still using that neuro device in your back?" So, well, no, we have a brand new battery that does all kinds of neat things that you would love to have. We'll install it to your back for free. So a couple hours of surgery.
Is it working?
And it's going. Well, I haven't done it yet.
Oh, okay.
And I guarantee you, Randy, you'll get off your pain meds. So you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and schedule the surgery. It's just all it is. The battery's about that big, and they just slap it in your back. There's actually there's wires connected to your spinal column, and then they actually just hook the battery up to it, and you plug and play. So I'm going to give it a shot. What's going to hurt, right?
It's just along the lines as we were talking the Neuralink chip from Elon Musk. I mean, you plug it in, and if it works, I mean, I don't know if there's any risk that it can make you worse than you were before, and I equate that to uses the word anesthesia. To me and Donna, we freak out because it has an effect on dementia, and there's a good possibility that I could wake up worse than I was before they gave me the anesthesia, or not survive either. But at the same time, that's kept me that's kept me from doing things that I want to do. I finally have enough dental insurance that if I work it right, I out of my mouth, which is all the teeth in my mouth, let my gums air out, and I'll be on Boogie with the Bull with a white smile. So, so I have to think about that, and they scare us. Plus, I also think, I hope takes out Robert F. Kennedy Jr. once he is approved and sworn in as our Secretary of Health and Human Services. I don't care if he's an independent. I don't care if he came from a Democrat family. I don't care if he ever became. The man is on the right track. Big Pharma might not want him there. I don't know. The medical doctors may not want him there, but I think for the first time in a long, we're going to see. That information should have been flowing to you, Randy. The doctor in your back should have been periodically sending you updates on technology, and maybe having you in for a consultation and saying, this is an advancement. I know we have to cut you open and do something, but you might want to do this. And maybe, who knows, maybe a year from now, 2 years from now, it might be longer. They say it's a self-charging battery from the time you open your eyes to while you're sleeping.
It is the
charges, and
why?
you won't
Okay,
why?
Okay, so I do have a remote device that I power the battery back up every 2 or 3 days, so it is rechargeable. The only downside is if I ever decide to have myself cremated, I have to have surgery to take that thing out,
Yeah,
because if I go into a fireplace, it'll blow up.
If you go through, do you have to let the people at the airport, if you're traveling, if you're going to get on a plane,
Yes,
you have to let them know?
Yep. I have a card in my wallet that I carry with me, showing that I'm a card-carrying member of the Neurostimulators
I,
Society.
I, I, I understand the job people have. It bothers me because, I get, fortunately, I get rolled in a wheelchair from the minute I walk into the airport to the minute I leave the airport, wherever I'm going. And I have to get out of the chair. Well, actually, they'll come and wave a thing over me, but and do it. And I say, usually I can. So I just say, yeah, I can. But while I'm in there, they're telling me this and they're telling me that, and they're telling me this and they're telling me that. Just roll me through. Whoa. Just roll me through and let me go. Hold on. Got a little excited.
Good Lord, man.
Got a little excited.
Yeah, I know that, yeah.
Got a little animated there. But yeah. Craig says to you, Randy, I was on heavy pain pills for a year accident when I was 16 and had third-degree burns. Tylox, Darvocet, Loratrab. Yet I was always in pain, and another pill would make it subside. But when I stopped taking them, eventually, I think the continuation probably hasn't come through if there was one, but eventually I don't know, and I'm kind of the wrong person to attack big pharma, only because for a very long time, most of my corporate limousine most of my corporate customers that I had were all big pharma, and
Okay. Yeah, I see
at that
what Craig
time
wrote here.
you don't want to bite the hand that pays the bills. But
Yeah. Okay, so I see what Craig wrote here. So, Craig, I had 40 year placements only because the surgeons were stupid and did stupid things. So I was on at one point 4 different pain medications because of the pain I was in. I was on the oxycodone and hydrocodone for like 10 years. and that was screwing my mind up. So I kept saying to doctors, take me off," and they refused to take me off the pills. I finally pushed it. And I said, "Get me off these damn pills." So they did, and guess what? The pain went away. The pills were keeping my brain thinking that I was experiencing pain when truly I was not experiencing pain. So I got these last two that I'm taking, and I'm on the I'm on the process of weaning off of them so I can quit them all together, and then we'll see what happens. I got the thing in my back that's supposed to send a electrical current over the areas where the pain is coming from, which is supposed to mask the pain signals to the brain. So let's see what happens in the next few months.
Yep. Yeah, let's see what happens. Craig said exactly. I want to roll back one message from Tina. Tina said that Biden just said Delaware has a long history of growing peaches. Oh my God. No, Delaware has not. It's Georgia, which is actually very true. Georgia peaches. So,
Well, you know,
you know,
there's actually, I forget what state it was, and that's a shame. I did a broadcast when I was doing broadcasts on Sundays about the Civil War. I forget the title of the broadcast I did, but what I did was um, uh, war was going badly for the South, and this one city released all their slaves, and the Union soldiers were there, and they said, they said to the commander, "We're not taking care of these slaves anymore. They're your responsibility." So uh, they took these slaves, thousands of them, and placed them in this area that was like a deep crevice. Okay, and they built walls around it to prevent them from leaving. And essentially, what they did was the Union soldiers allowed these slaves to starve to death. This is valid. This is correct. This is not make believe. They allowed these thousands of slaves to die from starvation, and the people buried them in the ground where they were. And there were peach trees on this land. And even though these people were dying of starvation, they refused to eat the peaches off the trees because they believed that the decaying bodies, the souls of these loved ones, was causing these trees to have such bountiful peaches, and they refused to eat them.
well,
Oh,
that sounds like that. That sounds like a either a precursor or whatever that word is to the Warsaw Ghetto. The Germans did the same thing. They took the Jews and put them into this part of town and built brick walls and they couldn't get out, and you had to deal with the whatever the Germans gave us to survive back then, which is crazy stuff. I just
yeah.
I don't understand anymore. My head keeps saying, you know, I don't want to see a nuclear war. Well, I won't see. Hopefully, I'll be somewhere that I won't see it. It'll just happen. Uh, I'm going to be kind of like the guy in the family in Beetlejuice who didn't understand that he was dead until the next morning they woke up and they were in the Beetlejuice's office waiting room and see him. That's going to be the same kind of thing. I won't believe I'm dead until I'm in God's waiting room waiting for God. Uh, and I walk in and God won't look like George Burns or he won't look like Morgan Freeman uh, or someone else that played God. If he looks like Jim Carrey, I'll know I went to hell. Uh, uh, but
There is still 97 people being held hostage. Some of
where
them
in
are Americans in
where in
Israel.
yeah in Gaza,
Yeah.
the thanks that Hamas needs to be giving is that they just let everybody go. They let everybody go, and If they're too afraid they're going to be arrested or they're going to be shot or whatever, they're going to be killed, then just let everybody go. Just open the doors, shake their hands, and tell them to go home. And hope they get there before Thursday. Now, I understand that all the other countries around the world don't celebrate Thanksgiving the same way we do, but hey, it's Thanksgiving in the United States. So, just open the doors, let them get out, and let them just keep walking to wherever they need to get to, if that's where they need to get to. When they get far enough away,
Yeah.
and make sure they get home. Same with the J6ers. We should just open up the Biden should just say, open up that jail, let them all go. Actually, he should send buses there.
No. There are five. There are five Americans still being held. That we know that they're still alive.
Yeah,
Why the fuck has the Biden administration not sent in the Marines to get them? That's what we do normally. If there's an
because,
American hostage, we send the Marines in.
because the just we can go in killing everybody or anybody or risking that the five Americans get killed. It's not really the way they sing that they're still there because Biden doesn't have anybody at Gitmo that he can trade to Hamas.
Well,
Those
come on.
five, get
Biden
those
doesn't
five
have the
people out.
Biden
Well,
doesn't have the balls or the mind to do anything. Look at the 13 Americans who were killed. Look at the $80 billion she left behind. Someone else needed to take
I
charge. The Marines can go in there, not even be known they're there, get in there and bring back the five Americans without even
but
without
right,
even anyone know they're there. They have the ability to do that. They have
but
the technology. They just won't do it because they don't want to help Israel.
okay, but then as Craig said in the beginning, Trump has been to Israel. They love him. He loves them. Netanyahu loves him. Uh, Netanyahu wants to work with him. Netanyahu has no going back to the 2 terms that he was Obama's vice president because he had no respect or admiration for weak. He even said that publicly. He was weak, whatever. And unfortunately, I don't think for resolving that particular conflict is important right now. I think making sure Russia doesn't win and take Ukraine back to Biden, because among all the other things going on in Ukraine, the Biden criminal enterprise is heavily invested in Ukraine, and they don't want that. They can't lose that, or they're thinking they can't lose that. Joe Biden should have been kicked out of politics back when he went to Ukraine with the check from Barack Obama, and that was going to help with military aid or whatever aid, or help with whatever aid they needed, foreign assistance at the time. And Biden had the balls to say, if you don't fire the Ukrainian attorney general who is investigating me right now, I'm going to get on the plane and leave. Oh, no, he never said that because they look and they can't find the clip on the internet. You may not be able to find it, but I know that I'm sure there are friends of yours that have seen it. And if you look it up, usually you can acknowledge, or they still acknowledge, that quid pro Joe happened. There's no video clip. Okay. And Ukraine will still acknowledge that it happened. If Joe Biden had been put back on his plane and sent back to Washington, D.C. at that moment, and he came back with that check, the first thing Barack Obama should have done was fired him, because it wasn't his responsibility to make that statement and to not give them the check. So maybe at that point, Joe Biden would have been banned from the White House, office of the vice president or office of the president forever for doing conduct unbecoming or unallowed of a vice president of
Yeah.
the United States. That's about the only way I can word it. I believe that Joe Biden is now suffering seriously in what do I do because Trump got reelected and all I really want to do is go home. Even if he's
Yeah.
not, even if the dementia is just a bogus whatever in his head, and I don't believe it is, and qualified people don't seem to believe that it is. But even if it is, Joe Biden is seeing his world crumble so fast that there's nothing he can do, and he just wants to get out of there. I can see Jill Biden, yelling at him every day, going, "Oh no, 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 no! You are going to complete this. You are going to." Right up until the day your contract ends, you're going to complete this because we're going to need $1,000 a year when you are no longer president to survive. And that's fine. That's fine, Jill, if that's really what you want to do. But once you do that, if he's not prosecuted because he's no longer president, just like he went after Trump when Trump was no longer president and tried to prosecute Trump on everything, be prepared. You're going to need that $400,000 for lawyers.
Yeah.
Uh, should Joe Biden go to jail? Should Joe Biden be executed for treason and all that crap? I don't really even want to think about it right now. I just think that he needs to be removed from the office of president as quickly as he can, which is why I started the conversation. Do you think that we shouldn't wait 3 months anymore? Let the transition teams but in the background do all the transitioning that they need to do. His chief of staff can even be in those meetings, but Biden should have been gone. Trump should have been given maybe a week, I don't know, to at least uh, you know chill down from winning, go home, pack a bag, get himself to the White House. If Melania and Barron are coming with him, that's great. Or what I do is seriously consider moving the White House to someplace other than Mar-a-Lago. I don't think that it should be Mar-a-Lago because Mar-a-Lago is a club. There are people who rent
Yeah.
and live there that personally, you know, move back into Trump Tower in New York. It'll piss off Mayor, Eric Adams or whoever is going to become the new mayor of New York. But who cares? Personally, I think the White House, as far as being the headquarters of the president of the United States, is wrong. It's old. It's outdated. Uh, there should be the president should be able to live, and then all of his government agencies can go in there and wire it up however they want it to be wired up. But and then maybe the White House becomes a museum. Some other people say, well, maybe the White House should implode. I
Yeah.
don't really care what you do with it. Make it a
Well,
park.
well, look at the look at all the castles that the royals of England own, uh, and because of how I still it floors me how the royals have turned over all their power to the parliament and whoever else to run the country, and all they're doing is walk around in all their glory. They can't afford to do the upkeep on the castles, so they open them up as museums to help offset the costs of the beautiful castles. I'm sorry, they should have kept control of their damn power, not giving it up, and rule it as they ruled it back then. I think they'd be a very powerful nation. I think they are on the way out as a powerful nation. I hate to say it, but I think they are. Uh, and I think the United States, unless Trump gets in there and starts changing things around, we're also on the way out the door as far as being a powerful nation. And I got to go. My time is up.
Okay.
So it's great being here.
Yeah, it was a
Great
good show,
talking to
Randy.
everybody.
It really was.
Yep. Okay, you
Tonight on
take
the
care.
American Rebellion, I hope that you'll be there if you can.
The bad thing is that I spend so much time in my office doing my genealogy thing. I don't spend a lot of time with my wife, my daughter. 7 o'clock is when we normally eat, and
Okay.
that's my hour and a half to be with them. And I hate to.
Yep.
I would love to be on the show, but at the same time, I got to get some FaceTime with my wife.
Yep. All right.
See ya.
FaceTime. FaceTime. Randy's got a bunch of iPads and iPhones that he takes to bed with him while he's working on genealogy through All Roads Lead to Home Genealogy Services. There's a All Roads Lead to Home Genealogy group. That's Rhodes, Rhodes, like his last name. All Roads Lead to Home Genealogy. You can go to Randy Rhodes' Facebook profile and message him and tell him that you want to find your ancestors and look at your family tree. And his fee is the cheapest, the least expensive. The gift of genealogy makes a fantastic gift if you're looking around for a Christmas gift for people. So go to Randy Rhodes' Facebook and message him and ask him all about All Roads Lead to Home Genealogy Services, and maybe he can help you. And on that note, I'm going to read Tina Scott's last comment because it actually, I'm going to flash it on the screen, and then I'm going to look to my left, to the monitor on my left, because sometimes it's a little easier to read. People are saying the left is going to use the 25th Amendment, which, if that happens, he won't be inaugurated. I think the people on the left are wrong in the fact that if the only person I understand the 25th Amendment, Tina, and I could be wrong. I'll try to find the right answer before the American Rebellion tonight, and if we discuss that whole situation, I'll see if I can have the right answer. Jerry may know, but I believe the only person that can use or exercise the 25th Amendment is the current Vice President of the United States. And all they do is there are 5 cabinet secretaries, I believe, and they each get a vote. The vice president does not get a vote because, of course, the vice president would be the benefits by a majority vote. The reason there are 5 votes and not being a vote because then there would be 6 votes and then it could be a tie. And if it's a tie, then a president in bad health or unable to do the job for other reasons continues on as the president. But I don't think the 25th Amendment allows a vice president who becomes president to do anything other than be president through the end of that president's term. It doesn't allow her to say, I'm taking over as president now. Donald Trump is not going to be the president. The way that sounds to me is that's a coup. And if Kamala Harris has the audacity to think that she could have a coup against the American citizens of the United States of America and become president, and she locked herself in the White House. It's not something anybody would want to have me say or ever hear anybody say, but maybe that's time you implode the White House and if we're still before January 6th, then you inaugurate President Trump immediately, and that's it. And that goes back to if there's any doubt, any concern that Vice President Kamala Harris, who is also Senate President Kamala Harris, is going to do anything in her authority to create situations that don't lead to President Trump winning the election certification vote in the Senate, then, as I've said, Mike Pence should have been escorted out by the Sergeant of Arms at the Senate, turned over to the Capitol Police, and arrested. Turned over to whoever he should have been turned over to from there, and not allowed back in the Capitol building at all until at least the Senate certification process was done. And I think Kamala Harris is smart enough to understand that if she pulls any tricks, then we have close to 2/3 of the Senate. I'm sure there are the portion that we have that is less than 2/3 in Democrats that will actually vote to make him the president. And she, as the Senate president, does not have a vote. It's not a tie. It's a 2/3 vote. So she doesn't get a vote. Why? She shouldn't get a vote, again, if she had run. But she lost by such enough of a majority in the states that have actually reported, and she conceded that she lost, that, I think the deep state is telling her the best thing to do is just, if there are any protests filed, listen to them, allow the senators to vote, and they're not going to vote to continue you. They're going to vote to continue Joe Biden. And if that happens, I honestly believe that regardless of Joe Biden's mental capacity, and walk away. Because I think he's tired. Even if he does have dementia, he's tired. Even if he doesn't have dementia, he's tired. He just wants to walk away. Because what is happening now, the way I see it, is everything just against his political opponent, weaponizing the president to go a political rival, which is illegal, is coming back to haunt him, because all of the court cases, one by one, are being dismissed, which they should be, or language that says they're not dismissed, but it'll be a billion years before we bring it back into court to discuss it. And he'll be dead, and so will everybody else. Okay? The Democrats got a peaceful transition from Trump at the end of his term in 2020. He, I don't believe, was at the inauguration, but I could be wrong. What I heard was he left the White House and went to wherever he was after having given the keys and everything to Joe Biden. And I believe Jill got her chance to meet with Melania and go through and make any changes that she wanted to make. I believe that there is some furniture there you're allowed to take with you because you used it during your presidency. A whole bunch of other things happened. Trump, president's desk, Trump, or whose president's desk he's going to want to use now. So, there's still a lot of work that has to say that his agencies need to go through and check the entire White House out before they take over from the Bidens, but I don't really care. I do believe that I don't know how long after, it should be a week, maybe two, so that Joe Biden has enough time with his chief of staff to wrap up being at the White House, make sure they have moved out of the West Wing and back to wherever they're going to go. The president just gets inaugurated at the end of that week and takes over, maybe on a Friday, so that they come back in on, they can go into the office and start working over the weekend, and Monday they start doing whatever they're going to do. But I think this 3-month waiting game for a transition team is not what we need to do. Anyway, we're at 11:38, so we're 8 minutes over. 11:36, so we're 6 minutes over. And I need to get dressed and feed animals, and we have errands that we need to run, because my wife and my daughter-in-law have a growing crochet business that is doing fantastically well. If you go to my Facebook page, if you're a friend of, well, anyone on Facebook, you go to my Facebook profile and you scroll down until you find the post for Family Treasures, which had different colored dinosaurs. Not dinosaurs. Yeah, dragons. I'm sorry. Dragons, not dinosaurs. Dragons. And you take the link from that and you go to the page and like the page. As I say every day, fantastic handmade crocheted items that both Donna, my wife, and Angela, our daughter in law, make. And sometimes you'll see a post on the page that tells you the next craft show they will be at here in Florida. So if you're here in Florida or you're going to be in Florida during that time, I highly suggest that you go to that show. You can order from them direct, and shipping is always available. You have to pay for it. It will be added to the price of anything that you buy, but so is everything else. You go to Amazon and you want something, you got to pay to have it shipped to you. So, but you won't find the quality of that they are selling anywhere else other than Etsy, because my wife has an Etsy to find it on Etsy. But go to the Family Treasures Facebook page, like the page, with looking for unique gifts and other things. Really, really cool. And on that note, Double B's for victory. This Boogie with the Bull broadcast is going to come to an end. This is actually one of the best shows that Randy and I have done in a long, long time. I did invite Chuck Cook, or asked Chuck Cook if he was going to be around this morning at 10 o'clock to join us. I didn't get an answer, so I apologize if Chuck did answer me and couldn't make it, but we'll try to have Chuck on Wednesday. Our broadcasts this week are Tuesday night. We will be on. Jen Woodruff will be on Tuesday night. Wednesday morning, anybody that wants to join us at 10 o'clock is welcome. Up to a total of 10 people, me and 9 others, can join us. There will not be a Thursday night Boogie with the Bull because it's Thanksgiving. And I'm actually going to enjoy being with my family this year for Thanksgiving. And the guest of honor is our daughter-in-law's mother, who is a good friend of the family. So you got to do what you got to do. But I want to do this. I'm looking forward to Thanksgiving dinner. The advice from everybody else, Jerry Michaels gives you, Michael Anthony gives you, Randy Rhodes has probably given you, Jen Woodruff might have given it to you. I'm going to give it to you right now. No politics or religion at the table that dinner is being eaten at. So if you want to eat while you're talking politics and or religion, excuse yourselves from the main table and go eat somewhere else. Or if the option is those that don't want to can leave the table and go, that's up to you. But you understand what I'm saying. No talk at the main table where the adults are sitting. Politics and or religion during the time that you're eating. Unless everybody decides they want to talk about it, then that's different. In the Goldman house or wherever Goldmans were on Thanksgiving dinner, it was always and or religion will be discussed at the table. And then, of course, the only thing that was discussed at the table generally was politics and religion. But we didn't talk about religion because we were all Jews anyway. And then Black Friday will hit and you can go start shopping. Make sure you go to the Family Treasures Facebook page and shop, 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 shop. You could probably get just on the Family Treasures Facebook page. This is the part of the broadcast where I tell you have been watching Boogie with the Bull Monday Morning Caffeine, a copyrighted presentation of the No Budget Broadcasting Company. I think I screwed up the word budget. The No Budget Broadcasting Company. Apologize for the crackling audio interference and the freezing cameras. I'm guessing that it is a slow internet speed. I will do what I can do to see if there are options available to help fix that. If not, we're just going to have to deal with it. Because Starlink, I don't know what the Starlink box costs, but Starlink service is $120 a month, and I can't afford it. And I would have to probably add a $1 a month subscription fee through Facebook to be able to get a individual Starlink service just for the tech last, which I really don't want to do. Okay, I really don't want to do that. You know.
I'm leaving.
But
I'm leaving in a minute. You don't hurry.
You what?
I'm gonna leave if you don't hurry.
I can't. Hold on. Anyway, get dressed and feed the dog, feed the cat, and then we're going to leave. Tonight, downstairs, the American Rebellion page, the American Rebellion blogger page, 7 o'clock, Joy else is on for the American. And on that note, the final double V's for victory, Boogie with the Bull.